Giving you a minute to write it down. Okay, so we are going to do, so we're doing one of these because this is a high money question on the AP test. If I'm doing it in front of you, you pretty much are guaranteed that this is one of the 10 that we're going to see on Friday, right? So this is a good way to narrow that list down even more. You're going to see something like this. It might not be this one. It might be like the one that's in the review. It might be something totally different, but with the same concept, okay? So the first thing I need to do is I need to get the dy dx by itself, really. So I'm going to take this and move it to the other side by subtracting. So dy dx equals negative yx plus 1. And typically, that one's kind of unique in the fact that we have to subtract. Typically, we don't add or subtract. But from this point on, we would not add or subtract to manipulate this. All right. Who knows? What is the next thing we need to do? Before I can integrate this, there's a very important step we have to do here. So what is that important step? Who knows? Who knows? All right, so I'm seeing move y, get the x's and the y's together. Okay, everybody read what Marilyn wrote. Oh, and Noelle. And Rebecca. Okay. Tina's kind of there. All right. Everybody retype that into the chat right now. This is a super important thing. Retype that into the chat. You have to, and don't just copy and paste it. Actually type it out and put it in there because I need it to stick in your brain. Okay. If we don't do this step, we get 0 points on this problem. Okay. I guarantee, knock on wood, there's going to be one of these on the AP test. So we might as well get it over with and get really good at these now. Okay, that's why I'm emphasizing this one on our test. All right, so I have to separate the variables. I am going to do that by dividing, right? I have to do the opposite. It's under multiplication, so I have to divide this to the other side. So we're going to go 1 over negative y dy. This would get multiplied to the other side, equals x plus 1 dx. I am now ready. Now that I have that, number one, I just earned a point. That's a huge thing on the AP test. Earn a point, right? I've got to get like, I think there's 108 points, and I got to get about 40% of them. So every little point helps. Okay, I earned a point. So I am going to, I'm going to move this negative a little bit. So I'm going to set up my integral symbols, move that negative outside. All right, when I see 1 over y, what does that integrate to? Tell me in the chat quick. What does 1 over y integrate to? All right, good job. Natural log, technically absolute value, though we end up dropping them, they get grouped in with the c. All right. What, I want you to tell me this on the right side there. What is that going to integrate to? I'm going to give you a good minute. Okay, I'm not going to panic for like a whole minute. Be careful. I want to see what the whole thing integrates to. Type that in the chat. Make sure you don't miss anything. All right, I should start seeing some answers now. Oh, you all fell into my trap. You all need to revise your answers. There's something missing, and we would lose points for it. What is missing? Who knows? Oh, there we go. Revise those answers. It's okay because our brains just grew because we made a mistake, right? Get those answers revised. But you all did good. You did good on the integration part. We just had a little hiccup in the plus C part. So what would happen is you, out of the, like, it's up to here and you get the four points usually, you would lose the point on the plus C. Okay. All right. I am going to choose to move that negative to the other side. I'm also going to drop my absolute value bars kind of at the same time. So it's going to be negative x squared over 2 minus x. Technically, it's minus c, but minus c and plus c would still be a constant. So I'm just going to leave it as constant. All right. Super fancy word. What do we need to do to get rid of the natural log? Put it in the chat for me. What do we need to do to get rid of the natural log? My goodness, it is windy today, isn't it? Nobody remembers? Oh, there we go. Here it comes. You don't remember, spelling doesn't count, right? It's math class. Spelling doesn't count. All right, some of us got it. Exponentiate. Nice word. So we got e to the negative x squared over 2 minus x plus c. All right, e and natural log cancel. So we've got y equals e to the negative x squared over 2 minus x plus c. Actually, I'm going to take that back. Remember, in this part of the problem, because we want to get that, we want to be able to get that c. The whole reason we split this up is we want to get this c kind of out of the exponent so we can write it as e to the c. We're reversing the property when your bases are the same, you add your exponents. So we're reversing that property. So ultimately, really, I should have probably called these all c sub 1. And then e to the c is just another constant. So we get c e to the negative x squared over 2 minus x. This here is called the general solution. So kind of on the way to particular, I got general. I now need to get particular, right? Because that's what the problem was asking me to do. I'm going to zoom out just a bit. So in order to get particular from what I have there, what do we need to do next? Because I've almost got all like 5 or 6 points on this one now. What do I need to do next? There's one piece of our problem we haven't used yet. We do need to solve for c. How am I going to do that? Like the best part ever, right? We get to plug. If we don't get to cancel, the second best thing is we can plug stuff in, right? So I'm going to put it up here. So we're going to have 1 equals CE to the negative 2 squared is going to be 4, right? So I'm just going to go with 4 over 2 minus negative 2. So that's going to be positive. So then we get 1 equals CE to this is going to be negative 2 plus 2, which is e to the 0. What's anything to the 0 power? Put it in the chat fast. Anything to the 0 power. All right, we got 1, so we know that c is equal to 1. So then I go back to the line before I plugged in, and I'm going to plug my c value into that. So y equals, I really don't need to write the 1 down, e to the negative x squared over 2 minus x. So, okay, not so horrible, but you need practice at it, okay? So there's definitely 1 in the review. Actually, there's probably 2 or 3 in the review, right? Because if you need another one, couldn't you go do the video problem? Pause the video, write the problem down, try it, then play the video. Okay, so you've got lots of review here. Okay, plenty to get you.
Miss Ballard?
You don't need to square root it, no.
Miss
What's
Ballard?
wrong, Marilyn?
I don't understand what you did on the last line.
On this last line?
Yeah.
So right here?
Yes.
Okay, so all I did was I plugged the C back in. My C was 1. I just didn't write my 1 down. I plugged it into here.
Okay.
Okay. All right. You don't need a square root. There's nothing that I would take a square root of. Okay. All right. So when are we taking the test? Tell me in the chat. When are we taking the test? Perfect. Okay. What's the minimum number of questions you need to get correct on the test to pass it with a C? Okay.